Say Cheese is the 14th episode of the first season of Mickey Mouse Clubhouse Plus. As always, there will be spoilers from now as I go through the episode chronologically and share some thoughts. I like to watch these to see how educational they are. I think that was a missed opportunity, but generally it's a pleasant episode. Not the most educational, but I think it does have a nice story to it. And I guess some nice messages about friendship as well. So this one starts off with Mickey and Duffy the Bear, actually, which is very, very cute. And then we see that he is putting a photo of Pluto into a frame, and there are empty photo frames. So they decide to take photos of all of the friends in front of their favourite places, which is a really lovely idea. I think that is so, so sweet. And the episode is everybody going around having their photos taken. And I did wonder why we would need Mousecatools. I wasn't entirely sure what they would be for. And then once we saw the Mousecatools, I still had no idea, but I was keen to find out. And actually, everything flows really well. As a story, it's well written, it's certainly well executed. We also have a lot of songs in this. There are a lot of musical numbers, which are quite nice. And the Mousecatools that we have are a rubber spatula, Mickey's phone, a megaphone, and of course the mystery mouse capal. And the first place we go to is Minnie's favourite spot. This is the sunflower fields, and they don't have the camera, so they use Mickey's phone to take the photograph, which was a nice way to include the Mousecatool. And then we go to the desert with Donald. Obviously, given the nature of this narrative, we have a lot of different locations, a lot of different backdrops. I would say visually it is a very engaging episode. Obviously, it's very well animated. And while we're there, we need to use the mystery mouse capal. And this is because it is really hot at the desert. So they use the help of snow cone Pete, because snow cones will keep you cool. And then the camper turns into a submarine, so they can go underwater to Daisy's favourite spot, which is the grotto, and they use the rubber spatula Mousecatool to wipe fog from her helmet, which if I had to try and guess what that Mousecatool was going to be for, I never would have guessed that. And it was good fun. Obviously a different environment again, it looks really great. And then we do have a bit of interaction with the audience, but I do think there was a missed opportunity because they need to move the camera slightly to frame it properly, and they ask the viewer, should we move this way or that way? And there are arrows on screen. And I really think they should have said this way to the right or this way to the left. It was a great opportunity to just use those words to have a visual representation of right and left. Maybe very young viewers would be too young to pick up on right and left, but for slightly older viewers, some might be able to recognise it. And I don't know how old I was when I learned the difference between right and left, but I'd say it's never too young to, or never too early to start helping children learn about that. So that was a missed opportunity, but we still had some audience participation there, which is always a nice thing to include. And then we go with Goofy to the waterfall. And they don't know the direction, so they have to use the megaphone to call for Coco the monkey, and they then have to follow the path with the arrows that display the coconuts. I think this is a really great thing to get viewers, particularly young viewers, thinking about reading signs and identifying directions. Obviously, not many places in real life have coconuts on arrows, but it's making them aware of this as a concept, and it can make them think about street signs and following directions and such. So I think that was a really great thing to include as well. And then Pete gets a chance to have a photo as well, and he goes to the lake. That's his favourite place. And they go back to the clubhouse and put everything in frames. And they realise Mickey didn't get a chance to take his photo at his favourite place. But it just so happens that Mickey is at his favourite place. And all of the characters gather together to have their photograph taken. This includes Hilda Hippo, and Clarabelle was there. They were all there, and it was just a beautiful, beautiful moment of all of the characters, and it was really lovely. Obviously, we have some nice messages here about friendship. We have some great songs, some interactive elements. Not the most educational. There are obviously episodes that teach colours and counting and other kind of direct learning, but there are still opportunities for thinking about things and comprehension, and as I said, things like following directions. So that's always very good as well. And in general, it's a really sweet, problem-free episode. I think Say Cheese is quite delightful, visually beautiful, loads of locations, definitely a very engaging episode, I would imagine. A lot of great songs in there as well. And ultimately, it's a pretty sweet episode of Mickey Mouse Clubhouse Plus.